We are getting some range.
Yeah.
Poop inspector to jail.
Jail.
To romance.
Food.
I mean, needless to say, I did not wear the underpants that were issued.
Need.
Needing my...
Need. I need.
You know, in X-rated movies, when like two people are, or maybe more than two people are making love, and then a neighbor like creeps up, like, and he peeks in the window, and then he's naked too, and he's kneading his wiener.
Kneading his dough.
Yeah, he's kneading
From
his
below?
dough. Yeah, while he's watching.
Like this?
Yeah, he goes like this. That's how he does it.
That's the worst way to knead.
Isn't that
though.
gross? Well, it's the movies. It's not real life.
No, that's like one of the first documentaries I ever saw. Was like,
Is it
Really?
kneading the dough?
He needs his dough while he's watching his neighbors make love.
How funny was it when we showed up and then like the neighbor, the guy at the auto shop was doing some gardening?
The neighbors out front were gardening they were planting cannabis sativa right in the front.
Like shrubbery.
Yeah, as if it was shrubbery.
Surrounding a tree.
And May's like, they're planting weed. And I'm like, they're planting weeds? Anyway, so we haven't been here for a while, and welcome back to the show.
Yeah, things have changed.
Some things have changed.
Things have changed. Some things have changed. But we've got show and tell stuff. Do you want to start with yours?
Yeah, I got a little carried away when deciding for my show and tell. First thing I want to show was these tomahawks that I actually designed. This sheath was made by a fellow named Pascal. He goes by Hollywood Riff Raff on Instagram. But he's an amazing bootmaker and leathersmith. And he made this sheath.
And you made this sheath.
I tried to choose Viking runes that would spell out my name. It worked out pretty good. Anyway, these tomahawks I designed, they're based on Franciscas that the Germanic barbarian tribes used to eventually, beat the pants off some of the Roman soldiers who, would have these organized formations, and they'd throw these in mass at their formations and cause chaos on the battlefield. So this is my take on the Francisca, and they're made by a guy named Jared at HB Forge. He's amazing. I love these. I carry these all over. But
because these would bounce off the field, right?
They'll bounce off the ground. They'd break their shields. They'd cause craziness
because it would go underneath, so to take shins out and like hit their legs. It would basically bounce underneath. Yeah,
and these wild men, these barbarians would come running out of the woods, and throwing these things they'd never seen before, and they're used to the disorganized fighting, and it really gave Rome a run for their money.
What else you got?
I love these. These, oh God, I got to show you. I'll show you
that
this.
One.
This is a knife that my friend Joe Flowers designed. It's called Brachimo. Joe's an awesome dude. He takes people down into the Amazon with this group called Bushcraft Global, and they teaches people how to survive in the jungle. And he's just an awesome, amazing person.
This is really thick.
It's really
so
thick. For a Scandi grind knife, it's extremely thick. Like, this is awesome jungle survival knife. I just got it, and I'm so stoked. And Joe's an awesome guy, and I'm just stoked to have it. Thanks, Joe. And Joe actually introduced me to some people from Germany called UG Tools, and Joe was crazy about this knife, so I wanted to get one too.
It's super lightweight.
It's super lightweight, yeah. It's like a titanium handle, and it's like a 3D printed handle over titanium. It's just crazy. I don't know the specifics
it's so
of it.
light.
It's amazing though.
It's really light.
God, I love this knife. So I had to show you.
Wait, I think we measured. Did we weigh it? I think it was it was maybe 0.5 ounces or something like that.
Or maybe less. It weighed next to nothing.
Light.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then while I was choosing my knives to bring and show you, I found these Dukes. These are riser pads that were started by shorties. And on the Tony Biolis, who started shorties, they started with making the short skateboard bolts and eventually became like the biggest skateboard company of the time. Chad Muska rode for them. And Tony was a longtime friend of mine. And I wrote an article in Big Brother called Hide a Duke. And it was about a game that I played called where you hide a Duke when you're someone's house you don't like, or maybe someone does you wrong. You hide a Duke, a poo-poo somewhere in their house and let them find it later. And so I wrote an article.
So terrible, Chris.
It's terrible, but sometimes it's necessary. And so I wrote an article in Big Brother to tell people about Hide a Duke. And so they put the story on the back of these Dukes. And we found these. My mom had kept these all these years. So kind of a cool thing.
Awesome.
Hit a Duke.
Huh?
So your mom hit a Duke.
She did.
She
had
hid
a
the
couple
Dukes.
of Dukes.
Oh God, you know what? I did hide a Duke at someone's house. Maybe more than someone's house. But yeah, this person ticked me off, so I hid a Duke in their microwave. You know what I did? And then I turned the microwave on before I left their house. So
That's terrible,
isn't it?
Chris.
But I didn't not only dislike what the person whose house it was. I didn't like their friends either. So I think they had it coming. I mean, maybe nowadays I wouldn't do it, but maybe I would. Yeah. Anyway, they had it coming. Sometimes, like I said, it's necessary.
You want to
put my knives away.
Yeah. I'm so scared.
Audience, I know you're probably not all as passionate about sharp things as I am, but I had to show you. I get excited.
They're great.
Yeah, these are really great.
Let me move my hand.
In Action Point, actually, my character had a tomahawk that was like this. Not this version of it, but very close. This is the evolution of it.
You want to talk about it?
I was thinking about what happened with.
Oh, but I didn't bring the fucking lasers.
Oh, they're in the car.
Oh, I got it. No, you know what? Next episode, I'll bring all the lasers that the Dick Laser guys gave us. They gave us an array of lasers.
There was an altercation supposedly with and some of the members of Jackass crew.
Yeah, which is like the producers and the people behind the scenes.
Cameramen and producers, yeah. But TMZ reported that they'd done something offensive. It's completely untrue.
Well, maybe TMZ got this wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we can even talk about it because what if comes at me with a lawsuit?
Oh yeah, he's
like that, yeah.
Totally do something.
Anyway,
like that.
there's this big time celebrity made up a story.
His name starts with or rhymes with Amy.
Yeah, Amy. And he made up a story that some people of our crew, were at the same restaurant as him, and they were shining penis-shaped lasers at his table, offending his family and his friends. And he stormed upstairs, which never actually happened. They just sent him down a drink and a laser in case he wanted to play with it.
Yeah, but they didn't know that he was a non-drinker. But see, I know a lot of non-drinkers, and they wouldn't be that offended by drinking or having. You're at a.
If someone offers you a drink, you don't just start a fight with them.
Alcohol, though.
Ridiculous. So he stormed upstairs to where they were having a good dinner, and they actually Dark Shark was actually clapping because he always wanted to meet him. Instead, Amy started throwing things, and he had brought 40 people or something with him. It's probably an exaggeration, but not much. Threatening them. He slapped somebody, and then I think he threw a glass, and it bounced off a window and cut him in the face. He actually had to go to the emergency room. And that glass almost hit a girl that we work with.
That's an alleged.
These are alleged stories.
But, allegedly.
Yeah. In the end, the guy that started all the trouble, Amy, went to the hospital. The police comforted our friends and made sure they got back to their cars safely. Luckily, those hooligans didn't cause any of the violence that they had promised, and the Jackass crew was safe. That's what happened. Well, that's pretty much what I just said is pretty much the real story. Thank heavens those hooligans didn't hurt our friends, though. You know, that's really out of line.
Tearing up.
Especially when you're acting like a nice person. You know, I once had a situation years before that with that same person. I'd run into Flavor Flav. When I was a kid, you see, me and Public Enemy came to my town, smaller town, and everyone in town wanted to go. And me and my friends didn't have enough money to go, so we said, let's just go out front and just check out the scene. We go to the auditorium where they were playing, and right out front is Flavor Flav and Chuck D, and they shout to us, they're like, hey kids, why aren't you in the show? And we said, we don't have any money. And they said, come on. And they escorted me and all my friends into the show and gave us this awesome place, side stage, and there was all these other kids from my school there, all stoked that they'd been let in by Chuck D and Flavor Flav.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so at this event, I wanted to thank Flavor for that because it was so cool of him. And I went up to him and thanked him. And in the meantime, and Flavor was so stoked. He was such an awesome guy. Is such an awesome guy. It was so rad that they actually went out front of the venue to make sure that there was no kids that couldn't get in. And anyway, in the midst of me telling the story to a nearby cameraman, this other character who we were talking about,
Amy?
Yeah, started getting all huffy and puffy and pointing at me like I was out of my mind. And it was,
Wait, but
he
you
was
were a
jealous.
kid, though. Well, you were a kid, though, right?
I was telling the story about when I was a kid. This is later when I got to thank Flavor for it. But yeah, and this character like got all like he I think he just gets jealous of attention not being on him. But anyway, it didn't ruin our time.
That's good.
Yeah, it was a wild night. But I think it was some VH1 awards.
Okay, so we filmed with these guys from Australia.
Yeah.
Just the other day,
Yeah.
Marty and Michael, and they are out here doing a couple of like little promo things for their show. They've got this like thing called Marty and Michael University,
Yeah.
and they were doing like little experiments, and I could just feel like such a good vibe. They were just such good dudes.
They're really awesome guys.
Yeah.
And who else was with them?
And Kyle Vick.
Yeah.
And he's just down for anything.
Yeah,
He's such a good person too.
I'm sure by the time you see this, I'm sure this footage that we filmed with them might have come out.
yeah.
But if you haven't seen it, go check them out. It's really funny, you know.
But
God,
they're such good dudes.
they're really good guys. We had a great time.
Yeah. And you know when you like meet influencers or people that want to get into the influencer category, sometimes their heads are a little bit bigger than their.
Oh yeah, they're big headed, but these guys weren't. You know,
No.
they were rad, and I think they were very inspired by Jackass stuff, and it was really fun filming with them, and they're really funny. They had shoes tattooed on them on their feet. They didn't wear shoes.
Yeah,
they were like proper
bogans,
as you call in Australia.
Love it.
And they didn't have shoes. One had Converse All Stars tattooed on his feet, and the other had Crocs tattooed on his feet.
Yeah.
And their feet
Michael had the Converse and Marty had the Crocs.
Yeah, and their feet were really tough, like leathery, so they didn't need shoes, which is really cool. I always liked to be like that when I was.
Your feet are pretty tough.
My feet are super tough.
Yeah.
Like, and
There's a bit of a callus pad
a
underneath.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge callus, like, because I always thought like I don't go around the city, but growing up, you know, like more rurally, I thought it'd be cool to be like the natives and not have to wear shoes and have really tough feet. And that's my mom told me that's why the natives didn't have to wear them. And I always wanted to go live in the Amazon or something like that, so I just didn't wear shoes. I walk around dirt all day.
You know, it's a big thing in Australia to go barefoot, right?
Yeah, that's why. In Australia,
everyone.
it turns out they're all
not everyone, but
not everyone at all, but
not everyone.
Many traditional
But
Australians.
a lot.
Yeah, they'll go to the airport. One time, remember this family came up to us in the airport in Brisbane, like to do a picture with me and Wee Man. Yeah, they were all barefoot, like in the airport, like they were gonna go in the shoes. They probably like go into the public restroom like barefoot.
Yeah.
Which I think that's where I draw the line.
I got so many snacks. I got all these snacks when we went overseas. Actually, it's been a while since we've actually been in the studio, so. We went on a little trip for Axe's birthday to Stockholm, Sweden. I got geishas.
They could play musical instruments. They could do poetry. They could read and write. And they could also make love, geishas. And now there's such a fabulous type of lady celebrated. They've even made a snack.
Let me see it.
In the wilds of Sweden.
See, I wish Dave was here.
Yeah. Well,
because Dave would eat all this.
You know, Dave England, he's been traveling around the globe making his documentary about fingerboarding. And I saw someone sent my brother a video, actually, of Dave on the subway of Berlin or somewhere. He turned into Darth. Once again, supposedly his drinking days were long behind him.
No, they're
not. But apparently on this trip,
they're in front of him.
Darth came out to play, and anyway, I saw this video. Darth was in the midst of a fight, a wrestling match with a friend. Darth attacks his friends
on the train.
On the train.
In Germany?
Yeah, it was in Germany.
Yeah. On a German train.
He never mentioned it to us when he told us about his trip.
Wrestling his friend.
He attacked his friend out of nowhere, the way Darth does. See, Darth, when he usually doesn't announce that he's turned into Darth, all of a sudden someone just hits you out of nowhere. And that's probably what he did. And then you look at him and he looks right through you. And then you're like, and that's how you know Darth's out.
AJ Spurs sucker punched you, right?
AJ
Spurs. Is it?
He sucker punched somebody at AJ Spurs when we were filming.
I think it was you.
Jackass 3. No, I was hiding from him. Wee Man warned me that Darth was out.
Who did he hit?
He hit everybody there. That actually, after his antics that night, it was when we were filming some bowl stuff up on the Central Coast. And during there, David showed up a little later than everyone. He was drinking all the way there from LA. And when he arrived, he was in full Darth mode. And Wee Man actually warned me. He said, watch out, Darth's running around. So I stayed in my room. But the other guys were not so lucky. And he went into the restaurant and he turned into Darth. And he started doing all these terrible things and hitting people and just doing, I don't know all what he did. But anyway, the next morning, Darth was fired. Jeff fired Darth because he'd had it. Everyone had had it. And so as punishment, he wasn't really fired, but he had to stop turning into Darth, and he was punished by having to throw himself off a galloping stallion, multiple times with like a parachute in his hand, as if the parachute would open up and slow down his fall. So they sent him on the stallion back and forth to be thrown off into the bushes at speed, and promised to never be Darth again. The thing is, Darth is not a very good fighter at all. I was just thinking about something kind of crazy.
Tell us.
One time, when I was a kid, I got arrested for a skateboarding ticket that wasn't paid. And I went, months later, I went to jail.
Yeah.
I got pulled over by the police because I'd made a U-turn or something late at night. And they're like, oh, you have a warrant for your arrest for something in Southern Orange County. And the bail is well, this is crazy. It must be a mistake. It's $7,500, and but it's probably some sort of mistake for a skateboard ticket. But we got to take you in anyway. So anyway, it ended up not being a mistake, and I had to go to jail. And when I was in jail, I would have had to stay there for a month awaiting my trial or some insanity. I'd have to be transported down there, and I had to dress out into the jail clothes. So I got naked. And they made me. It was just like in the movies. They made me do a little turn, and there was these barrels. There was a barrel with the pants and shirts, a barrel of tighty-whitey underwears, and a barrel of slippers. And I was like, I'm not wearing those undies. And while I was, I didn't think about it at the time, but they made me do a little turnaround and all this stuff.
Did you have to bend over?
I didn't have to bend over and cough, but it was weird that they asked me. The guy asked me because I was living in a different city at the time. He asked me if I was a male model. Looking back at that, I feel like that was kind of inappropriate.
Your dad didn't pay a ticket, and this is what happened.
Yeah, my dad, because I was on a road trip at the time, and it was the ticket, I think it was for $11. And my dad's like, a ticket showed up at the house for $11 for skateboarding. And I'll go ahead and send it in. He forgot, and that's what landed me in jail. And I had to go in there and talk, just like at the time, this is my first time I was in jail, and I had to talk to my mom through the glass on the phone and everything, and she had to get a bail bondsman. It was ridiculous for a skateboard ticket.
What's the lesson?
The lesson to be learned is make sure your dad pays your ticket.
Or give it to your mum.
Or give it to your mom. Yeah, don't leave it in the hands of your dad.
No way.
I mean, I was young at the time, and I didn't have a permanent address. It was my, if he.
You still blame him. I know.
No, you know what? I never harbored any ill will at all towards him.
Oh, no.
No. He felt very bad about it, and he went with me to court. Like, I had to actually go to a court date. And like, before I went into court, there was all these like proper criminals awaiting, like going before the judge. And it freaked me out because they like the judge would offer them, like to pay a fine or jail time. And like, they're all right, you can pay the $250 fine or spend, 4 weeks in jail. Like, 4 weeks in jail. Like, and I'm like, that's crazy. Like, they'd rather spend time in jail than come up with a fine. But so before I went in front of the judge, I had to talk to the prosecutor, and he's like, well, the judge is either going to offer you a fine or he'll offer you jail time. He'll probably offer you jail time. And I was like, what crazy world am I living in? Jail time for a skateboarding ticket. And I ended up I went before the judge. He's like, oh, if you pay the ticket, you can go on your way. And I went to the cashier, paid $11, and I was on my way.
$11?
Yeah, on top of, the money that my parents had to pay the bail bondsman to get me out. And I was so angry when I was in jail. I mean, needless to say, I did not wear the underpants that were issued. Like
jail
there's
pants.
no way I'm going to wear tighty whities that some other person wore.
Oh, because they're recycled.
Yeah, you get issued all your jail clothes and your tighty whities.
They get recycled.
Yeah,
huh?
and like I was like, no way I'm going to wear those. I'll just go ahead and freeball it on right now.
But then now nothing's protecting you from.
I think at the
like
time,
whatever.
No, I'd rather just wear the baggy pants and have hopefully like nothing would rub up against them at all. But I'm just not going to wear those underwear.
Can you wear 2 layers of pants?
Tighty whities, like at least the pants aren't that tight.
Just wear like a bigger size though.
Yeah,
Can't
no.
like
It's you don't want to ruffle through those. It's a barrel, and going in there like never experiencing this before, and especially when you're on the spot naked in front of someone, well, you have to choose your underwear. That doesn't even go through your mind. I wish they could have been like boxers or briefs or whatever, And
then open up a fresh Hanes.
Yeah, fresh
"Oh,
underpants.
Here we go.
No, it's not like that.
It's all yours.
And I'm sure jail for the ladies, has a totally different underwear selection. Like, remember in Orange is the New Black when they were smuggling in panties and in the ones like, I want a thong.
I like the fact that they were wearing maxi pads as like little slippers.
Oh God!
They had like the pads. They put them on their feet and they were shuffling around. They made maxi pad slippers.
So brilliant. And they were wearing underpants because there was some person on the outside that they knew that was selling used underpanties.
Yeah.
To like perverts online. Oh God, it's just gruesome. But it was the genuine thing.
Oh,
prisoners' underpants.
Like, Diddy's in prison.
Yes, he is.
Speaking of prison, Diddy's in prison.
Yes, he is.
And what do you think? Do you think he's wearing the underpants? Do you think he's got underpants on?
I'd say, yeah, he probably is wearing the issued underpants at this point. He's probably
Do you think he's made friends in there?
Yeah, I'd say he's made a few friends, maybe a few enemies too. But I don't know, geez, it's hard to say. First, those are 2 tough questions. One, is he wearing the issued underpants? Probably. I have no idea what style underwear, and that this was when I was last in that jail situation. Underpants have evolved a lot. Like, they didn't even have boxer briefs and stuff. Maybe that's what they issue now, ideally. But yeah, is he wearing underpants? I'd say so. Yeah. Sorry, hold on. Have you ever seen Diddy in a video sagging his pants where you could see his underpants? I haven't either. But he probably does wear the underwear. And he might have not thought twice. I mean, that's the least of his problems. But, God, I don't know. I think that's a pretty tough jail.
I wonder what's going to come out from this.
I don't know.
I'm really interested to know who else is involved.
I know that Diddy was a big fan of the show.
Because I asked, okay, there's a clip. I don't know if you can find this clip online, Tom, but can you find Puff Daddy and Bam Margera and Preston? Can you
it's
see if you can
findable.
could you see if you can find it right now and be able to play it?
I think we were filming in the same studio that Diddy, who was Puff Daddy at the time, I think.
Let me just blow my nose. I'll be right back.
He was filming something, and he was a fan of Jackass, so we got him to say, "I'm Johnny Knoxville, welcome to Jackass." And he slapped Bam, but
he slapped Bam with like
now knowing what we know,
he didn't have any hesitation whatsoever. Like
he slapped him good.
I got to show you this because I don't know.
Can you?
Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
Hey, can you show Puppy's face if he says no? Can you blur it?
We want to know if you do an intro for the show.
That's my favorite show.
We're just going to say, hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville, welcome to Jackass.
Can I hit you or something? You just hit me. I want to get punched in the face. Okay. I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass. Let's do some other. Let me get you down the stairs or something, man.
To think what became of that situation, that man.
But see how he was like, "Can I hit you?"
Eye bags. Nobody believes I'm 65 anymore, and my friends think I got a facelift. I was skeptical it would work as fast as I was told, but I am surprised.
God, he's such a big fan of the show, though. You know.
But see how easy it was. Like he didn't even hesitate.
No, he had no problem with hitting him.
He asked if he could hit him, right?
Yeah, he did ask.
He's like, yeah. He's like, can I hit one of you guys?
Yeah, he asked to hit somebody. Yeah. It's crazy knowing what we know now and then looking at that.
What if they use this as evidence? Well,
he does have a history of violence. I mean, look at this episode of Jackass.
Based on what I
Unscripted.
think that's low on the list.
Low on the list of evidence? Yeah. I mean, that's horseplay compared to some of the footage.
We're not laughing at any of that other stuff.
No,
we're
we're
just
not.
laughing at the situation behind us.
Yeah.
Well, that happened behind us.
It is kind of funny how he asked to hit him, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Judge.
He didn't always ask to hit the people that he hit.
What did
But-
Chappelle say? He's like, they got this guy in a RICO case against himself.
Out of respect. And it being his favorite show, he asked the cast member if he could hit him before hitting him. At home, he would.
That
Yeah,
evidence would
jeez.
actually be used by the defense. Like, look
Yeah,
how polite
yeah.
this is.
He was very polite. He always asked. Yeah, and the other people they liked that kind of lovemaking or.
I was actually asking Chris about that whole Diddy thing because I was like, oh, thank God! Like this was around the time that Jackass was like MTV's
Right when it
number
came out on
one,
the
you
TV
know?
show, yeah.
So and Chris was like, yeah, and I'm like, dude, did you ever get invited to any of these after parties or white parties? And what did you tell me?
Well, we after one of these movie award things, we did walk over to one of these Diddy parties. It was the talk of the town, this Diddy party, and everyone wanted to go to this. And like you couldn't even park anywhere nearby. And we started walking like towards it, and the police were already there. Like it was like they weren't letting any more people
Too many
in.
people.
Like so many people. Like so, I don't know. Like I don't know that that some funny stuff must have. I mean, if these stories are true, which they might be.
Yeah.
Baby oil parties were going on right then, and thank heavens that we didn't get in there and witness the horrors
Of
that took
these-
place.
yeah.
People slipping and sliding all over the place. They couldn't sprain an ankle. Yeah. So it wasn't that we weren't invited to the party. It was just we didn't even really get too close to the door.
You kind of did some sort of similar Diddy party thing.
Something
Remember
similar
that?
to a Diddy party?
No, you guys did
I've never
it.
thrown that kind of a party. May, let's have a Diddy style party. Let's see if Grandma.
No.
Let's see if Didi can watch acts.
Didn't you guys coat yourselves as bowling balls and you coated yourselves in baby oil and you're on like
I
a
coated
duck?
myself. I was coated in baby oil by Dave Carney, who was Denny the Oil Boy, when I was taking photographs for my Playgirl centerfold, for my glamour shots to get ready to audition for Playgirl.
No, wasn't there a skit on Jackass?
Oh, yeah. On Jackass #2, there was they coated Preston and Wee Man with baby oil, and they sent them down a giant slide.
Yes, that one. And then
too much baby oil though. Too much.
And then
just like the Diddy parties, too much of a good thing.
And then Knoxville had wasn't he firing like paintballs at you guys or something?
Oh, I don't remember. Like it I mean, they're all. I mean, while they were going down that, I think those were two different parts. But yeah, no, they put all this baby oil on Preston and Weeman and sent them down this giant slide. Oh, I know what you're talking about. A completely different baby oil situation. They baby oiled Street Bike Tommy. And some of the guys from Nitro Circus, they covered them in baby oil, I think, and sent them down some slide, and we were bowling pins. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Thank you.
God, so many baby oil moments. But you can hardly blame me for getting confused.
I know, I'm so sorry.
Like now looking at it, yeah, there's been lots of baby oil moments.
Yeah, see, Daddy.
God, baby oil's gotten such a crazy name now because of this situation. But yeah, they coated them with baby oil, and then they sent them down a slide to bowling ball us, and then out of nowhere, then there was a remote control helicopter going over, and Knoxville was shooting paintballs at us, and it's crazy in those situations, the confusion. Like you don't know where it's coming from. It was horrible. It didn't work out. Like it was dark.
Yes.
Sometimes when baby oil gets squirted out in large amounts, it can get dark.
Yeah.
As we know. We know what we know now, but we know looking back how they could have worked out, and with years of experience, like how these awesome ideas could have been great, but they so didn't work out. They didn't even make it to like any of the 0.5s.
Oh, wow.
Some things that could have been so hilarious. There's one thing, a stunt, believe it or not, involving my wiener that could have been so good if only they tied a small invisible string to it or something like that. That's all I can say. He's
like imaginary. Like he's like, oh, so good. He's like, yes.
Is there rumors of a 5 coming? Or you guys?
Rumor has it they're going to make Jackass 5.
Rumor has it.
I don't know.
There's going to be a 5.
5. I don't want to start any rumors, but don't be surprised if you hear about a 5.5.
Don't be surprised. Or a 5.
And what 5.5 means is that it could be following.
5.
What comes before 5.5?
4.
But what comes only 0.5 before 5.5? Simple math problem, May. What's 5.5 minus 0.5?
5.
Yeah.
5. This is like our usual conversations every single day. This is how we can stand being in each other's presence for 24 hours.
I picked the wrong day to
I thought you were going to say
breakfast.
You picked the wrong wife. I picked the wrong woman to hang out with. In Spain, when I went to visit my aunt, I remember just like turning on the TV, just regular, normal television, and porn was playing.
No. Oh, yeah.
In the middle of the night. And I realized maybe it's to keep people off the street and just at home and not getting up to no good. They're like, we're going to just lure you in with some free porn on regular broadcasting television.
I had a similar experience in Italy, in same thing. But you know what? It wasn't so innocent. They that porn, there's like numbers attached to it, to like if you want more, they lure you
more
in.
Porn.
Yeah, you dial some number and like somehow you're.
So what do you get from the calling?
I think you subscribe to. I don't know what the number. I couldn't tell. I didn't speak Italian, but there was a phone number at the bottom of the screen. So they'd give you like these teasers, like a bit of porn, but you know how porn is, just a little bit. In when someone sees it late at that hour, they only want more, or maybe they've seen that same shot over and over, and they want a different girl.
But don't you think it'd keep people off the street and at home, and Mello's like, we're broadcasting some porn, like middle of the night.
Yeah, but that phone number, if you could only understand the language, that tells you something more. It's not just porn. There's a number, and who knows what that number serves you. Ooh. A guy I used to work with at Big Brother magazine, he he later like was working on in Jackass World with us. We're not working there. We let him use an office basically. We thought he was going to like get back into writing. And it turns out he was not doing any writing at all. He was just looking at porn. and there was like, girl 5 minutes from you is down to have sex now, and like you follow some link.
Isn't that Tinder?
This was before Tinder.
Isn't it? Oh, before Tinder.
Yeah. So he'd be online and he'd be following these links to women that were down to FUCK. Yeah, only like miles from where he was. And so he'd follow all these links, and every time he'd follow them, he found out it was something that he had to pay money for. And it was never, but for like months he was following these links thinking he could get some easy sex out of it.
Because it was free.
Yeah, and he was that gullible. Yeah. So it turned out that's what he was doing, and he had to later be asked to leave the office.
I thought you were going to talk about that, like he had a phone sex answering service.
But for sure, no, for sure. If there was phone sex thing, he would have followed. Probably would have racked up numbers. Yeah, he's that type of guy.
That was so big in the 80s, 90s, huh? It's a phone sex.
Well, I think I mentioned it when Dave England was on once. We used to have a backdoor number to a phone sex line, so we could dial this number, and we could listen in on people having phone sex with the phone sex operator and it was weird, So we'd listen in, and then all of a sudden like interrupt them, like Dave England would do like an Australian accent. He'd be like, "G'day, mate," like when he was really drunk, he would do that, and it was really funny.
When Darth,
it was so weird though. Like the reality, we'd listen in. And like, it wasn't really like the way I would have imagined it. They weren't just talking about sex. It was more like a full date. Like,
okay,
I pick you up.
Yeah, tell me what
They're like, I'll pick you up in my nice car and see what you're doing. You're wearing a really pretty dress. And
it's a scenario.
And I'm like, and that's what the customer is talking to the phone sex operator lady. Like, he's actually going through a full date, and he's like, do you bring me some? Do you take me to a fancy restaurant? And he's like, yeah.
Oh, that's fucking easy. I could do that.
Exactly. And the more minutes you keep them on, the more money that you get.
That's easy.
So yeah, it doesn't go straight to sex. These people are lonely. So it's not just like, your tits, your ass. They're like, it's not like that. It's like a full date.
How would you envision it?
I'm wearing my finest suit.
Tell me what you think that they would be saying before you heard.
Before I actually listened in the back door.
Tell me what you thought they were saying to each other.
I thought it was like, what you got big tits, blah blah blah. Your ass, your tits, blah. Yeah. Now you're on your hands and knees, and then it's over. And then he climaxes, and then he's like, I don't want to spend any more money. And then it's over. And like it's like, oh, that was 75 cents well spent. Got that over with quick. And that's not really how it is in real life. In real life, like it's a lonely fella, and he calls up and he goes over a full date. What are you wearing? I'm wearing my satin suit. All
right, let me pretend I'm gonna be the John. I'll be the John.
You're the John, and
You're
I'm the
girl,
lady?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, my name's Charlene.
Hey, Charlene. I'm Bruce.
I'm just so lonely. So where are you gonna take me?
Well, I'm gonna pick you up in my Cadillac.
Oh, I love fancy cars. What are you wearing?
Wait, why are you asking me?
You gotta be a little more thorough with being the guy. Okay. See, you be the lady now. Let's see how it changes.
I can't take you seriously though.
Well, I have the advantage over you though, because I've actually heard the dates in real life.
All right, okay. So
you be the lady
I'm
now.
Crying right now. So
pretend it's your first day on the job.
So I'm the lady?
You need some extra cash. You've gotten a job as a phone sex operator. I'm going to call you.
But see, I can't because now I have like the.
Do your best. This is going to be a great experience, a great exercise, and this could be a standalone bit.
Wait, I need to drink some water because it's too much.
Okay, don't put too much pressure on yourself. You just need some extra money. It's what they call now is side hustle.
Side hustle.
I can't.
You're a young lady that just moved to the big city. Work's a little tight. Yeah, you just moved into a new place. You had to pay last month's rent, plus a deposit and bills. You need some extra cash. But then you answered an ad in the paper, the LA Guardian. Want to earn extra money in your spare time? Are you an outgoing lady that loves conversation? And then you got the job. There you go. Tell me when you're ready. I'm going to call.
Hold on.
My name's Patrick.
I need a second.
Mm-hmm. Have your water. This is only your first day on the job, so don't put pressure on yourself.
Wait. I can't breathe.
Try to do your best. Because the longer you keep me on the phone, the more money you're going to get.
Wait.
It's only free the first minute.
Shut up. Shut up. I can't drink. Wait, I need a timeout.
Well, while you're collecting yourself, I need to entertain the audience with a dance. We can't have this dead space on the show.
We'll be right back.
I'm like crying.
Well, I'm running out of dance moves here.
I can't breathe.
Here's one from Eddie Murphy Delirious. Here's Eddie Murphy imitating himself dancing as a little boy. Here's Eddie Murphy imitating white people. This.
Oh my God. Oh, Chris, what'd you do?
Here's one of Eddie Murphy dancing in his own music video with Rick James.
I might have to sit in my place because I'm like crying. I cannot.
Here's Eddie
compose
Murphy
myself.
at a Puff Diddy party with MC Hammer in not a thong bikini, but a Brazilian cut bikini that is very flattering and lots of oil. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Okay, I am the customer. I'm going to make my call. I'm lonely. Shh. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, my name's Patrick. What's your name?
Geisha.
Hi, Geisha. I really want to take you out on a date. What time should I pick you up?
7:30.
Okay, well, I'm going to drive my Mercedes Benz over to your place. I'm wearing my finest. Will you wear something sexy for me?
I sure will.
Oh, I love satin. Will you wear? And then you just leave me on. I'm so hungry. I want pizza.
Ooh.
What's your favorite flavor?
Pepperoni.
Oh, does pizza turn you on?
Oh, yeah.
They don't actually say that. That's the thing. No, you did perfect.
See, that's it.
I blew it
See?
as Patrick. I didn't even say my name, or did I? Like,
Oh my
so
God.
anyway, that's how, like, you did a good job, but you did excellent.
Thanks.
Me, I got bored. So that's how boring the guys usually are on these. Like, that's how they talk. They're scared. They're lonely. But they talk like that. They don't get right into it. Because they're shy, I think. Uh-huh. They don't as I described it, they're not like, your tits, your ass,
That's how you.
That's how I imagined it would be. And so when I heard Dave England, the first time I knew about this backdoor number that we had, me and Dave England were before we lived in LA, we were staying at Jeff Tremaine and Sean Cliver's house when they were roommates at Big Brother. And all of a sudden I heard the loud voice. It was after we'd come back from going out, and we were all drunk, and I hear, "Good day, mate!" And I go in there, and Dave's on the phone, like having a good time, like interrupting some phone sex call. And it was so funny. And so every time we tried it, that was super boring, and it was awkward. I felt a little bit bad, like totally interrupting. Like they'd be like, "Who is this guy?" Like, and the lady that was like the phone sex lady, she wouldn't want to ruin the call to because she's trying to keep them on the line, so she couldn't be totally rude for us and ask us to leave. And she probably knew that there was a backdoor listening line and was wondering how some
Well, she should have finagled
some
them
people like
into
us
the
got
actual.
how did they get the number? That's only my manager's supposed to have this number so you can make sure I'm doing a good job or give me pointers to keep them on the line longer.
Oh,
These guys are not helping at all.
Yeah,
like if
a
anything.
pimp. I don't think they're called managers.
Yeah, and if anything, they're going to ruin the call and intimidate the customer. But yeah, so that's what happened. But you know what? I had a friend that also had and he was a guy. Similar story. He was kind of new to town, needed some extra money, needed a job, and he answered an ad to make some extra money for a gentleman. And it turned out to be a phone sex line. It was a gay phone sex line, and there was he didn't know that till he went for the interview, and so he's like, oh, it's pretty good money though. So he took the job, and he didn't tell his wife. She thought he was working in a nursery or something, which I almost accidentally blabbed to her, like mentioning that he had a phone sex job. But it was a secret at the time because, she wouldn't have been into that kind of a job. And so anyway, there was 4 different lines. One was for Latin lovers. One was for buff studs. One was for like, it was like Ebony Spice or something. It was like he had to pretend he was a black guy. One he had to pretend he was a Latin guy. One he had to pretend he was a buff guy. And one was like for the rough stuff.
What's the rough stuff?
Like spankings and whips and chains and
I was
things.
thinking like Italian.
Leather daddy stuff. Those Italians are rough. Yeah. I was thinking Italian. That's the rough stuff. I love that's what you thought of.
The buff guy.
Prego. Porco Dio.
All right.
Figa.
What's your impression of the buff guy?
Che cazzo foia? That's the Italian.
Okay.
The buff guy's like, hey, I've been in the gym all day. I've seen you working out. Oh, it's crazy what you can bench. Hey, would you mind? I need someone else strong. Would you spot me? And then he spotted me, and you're spotting me. You're really close to my head in those little shorts. Smells like man. And then push. I'm losing it. It's like that. Whoa, that was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now do
wait a minute. Wait, did I leave my wallet over there? Can you turn around and see if my wallet's over there in the gym while I push? Oh yeah, no problem. Turns over. Oh, maybe it's on the floor. Would you bend over while? Yeah. Good. It's like that. That's what the rough stuff call is about. It's all like one guy spotting the other, and while he's using it as an excuse to sniff the guy's crotch at first, and then his balls, his sweaty balls in the gym, and then he has to turn around to like see if his wallet's there and bend over so he can sniff his butt too. That's pretty funny, huh?
I want your ebony one. Give me your ebony.
Yo, this might not work out. I can't do the ebony one. In this day and age.
All right, Latin.
What, yo? I'm not going to pretend that I'm...
Latin, go Latin.
Buenos dias, amigo. Mucho calor. And then the guy's like, oh, I don't really understand what that means. Wait a minute. Does that mean it's really sunny out? I better take off my clothes. Oh, bueno. Mucho bueno. And then it's like, like that. So it's something like that. Mas. Like that.
I'm tearing up, Chris. Mas.
You like the Italian
Mas.
one?
You're just like reading all the Taco Bell headlines. Mas.
I can no. I can actually speak decent practical Spanish, but I like under the pressure of it, I completely forget everything. Ooh. Una cuatro. Wait. Una cuatro, por favor. Dos camas? No. Una cama. Is that bed? One bed?
I don't
Two
know.
beds? I'm the all right. I'm the sexy Latin hotel
go.
hotel manager. Ask me for one room, please.
I'd like one room, please.
Sí. Oh, dos camas?
No.
Uno camas. Oh, bueno. then you can only imagine what happens of a bunch of Latin love. Is cama? That's bed, right? I gotta look it up.
Oh my God.
Sarah would know.
I might. Now I need to. And this is actually really fun.
I'm like, Chris.
Yeah. Now I know what you
really
mean by
hot.
having to do that. Yeah, it does get hot. God, you did a really good job.
Oh my god! Like pretending to do phones. I think we've already got like the whole.
That
episode
bodybuilder one was incredible.
Is just basically
beds.
Chris's phone sex line. I could not. I mean, Chris, I'm like crying.
That was really good.
Dying while you were dancing.
I felt like that was a stand-up comedy thing.
I was like,
Maybe I should add it to a stand-up comedy act.
I think you should do it.
Yeah.
Oh my
You're imagining a friend of mine.
It's
yeah.
really hot in here.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh no, it's from the Latin lovers. It's the heat from the Latin lovers.
Yeah, God.
No, from the rough. What was it? The
rough
buff
stuff?
guy, the rough stuff.
I
No,
love.
but the rough stuff was
The
Italian
bodybuilder.
dude. Yeah,
The bodybuilder. That was
Well,
the best one.
the rough stuff was.
So my friend did work for a bodybuilder phone sex. Yeah, the rough stuff was the whips and chains one. We didn't even do that
but
one
that
yet.
was the Italian. No, but that was the
You
Italian.
thought you figured the way you interpreted that was not whips and chains. You thought, oh, Italian must be Italian. Like,
You've been
I haven't thought
invited
about
to
it.
Italy.
I've been to Italy.
No, but you've been invited.
Yeah, I
back.
have been invited to a knife festival.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. I mean, we go from love to knives. I love knives. But boy, are those Italians rough. I should have known there was a knife festival in this country. They are rough. Yeah, God, I love that. God, I'm going to start God, oh my God, that bodybuilder one was
Your phone sex
ridiculous.
lines. We need
The
to
thing
maybe
is,
have
like-
Chris do that. Yeah.
The story about my friend doing the phone sex was completely true. I don't know what they talked about. I never asked him how it actually went. That was amazing. That was really good. Well, that was our first episode of 2025. We've all gotten a little hot, a little bothered, imagining things we never thought we'd imagine, going places that we never thought we'd go. I think it's going to be a great year. Thanks for joining us. I can't wait to see what happens next. I never thought my mind would go there. Thank you for encouraging that.
You're welcome. You're so welcome.
Happy 2025. You.